Yeah, and it's cash flow and growth has to be timed with your marketing efforts and your development efforts, and you have all these challenges. It's like you learn so much when you're in a startup environment because you're handling everything. And so, what kind of marketing has Niuz done in the last few years? I know I've seen you at a couple of trade shows. What's the strategy for your team to get out there as you're ramping up revenue versus expenses in a startup environment?
We're trying to focus mostly on grassroots marketing stuff and referrals, first and foremost. As you know, we can say whatever we want about how great, how beautiful our baby is. It's the audience that actually has to recognize that, yes, this is a beautiful baby, congratulations. The challenge has been, as with startup mode, getting adoption to the level that we want to see with our customers, and then having them turn around and say, this is what we've seen as a direct result of using Niuz. And I think this sort of factors back into the challenges that we're facing and the problems that we're solving for our customers. Everyone we talk to says, I've heard our communication sucks. Okay, but how do you quantify that? Like, what's the business metric that we're trying to change by improving communication? If you play this all the way down the chain, it turns into a retention problem. If I'm unhappy at work because I don't feel appreciated, because I don't feel included, because I don't know what's going on, I'm going to be looking for something else. So if you can improve the communication, you can improve job satisfaction, which improves retention rate. What we're trying to do then is go back to our customers that are using us, the early adopters, and ask them to look at, have we actually changed that metric for you? Have we positively impacted that needle? Across the board, yes, but it's not at the level that we want to see yet because we don't have 50,000 user organizations with a 33% turnover rate that have changed that to 15%. We're seeing it, but our customers are small enough now that they're not necessarily competing for the same job postings that other larger organizations are. They've got a smaller community and people sort of come in and sort of stay where they are. So from a marketing perspective, my job is to get as much customer evidence as possible. That's the holy grail of marketing for startups. We've done this for this customer. We can do the same thing for you. So we're slowly getting those metrics now, which is great. We're getting some fantastic feedback from our clients, but it's not to the level yet that positively proves we're going to move this business metric for you. We're getting there. We know that it does work. There's reports and studies all over the place that I've shared through marketing that talks about this sort of thing. Now we just want to make sure that we can prove it with our customers. We are, but again, it's slowly getting there.
Yeah, one of the examples, Cam, we've had clients that have been able to build the communications and get shift coverage and work with their own teams to the point where they don't have agency staff in their homes anymore. And during COVID, all operators were experiencing that and that challenge, and that's a huge win, especially for smaller single owner operator or small multi-facility owner operators. Getting that cost under control is a massive impact to their bottom line.
Frontline staff agencies, we've seen reports that are showing they're charging up to 250% what a full-time person would cost them on an hourly basis. So that's 2.5 people for every one that I lose that I'm spending on, which I shouldn't have to spend on. So if we can build a way that prevents or reduces that turnover rate, we're helping them save 150% or 250% of their staffing costs month over month.
And that's a direct hit return on investment that you can point to just right off the bat. I think that'd be kind of the biggest win for somebody. I mean, you're talking about 250%. That's a huge amount. The senior care industry has gone through a lot of changes since the pandemic, and one of the things that I've heard a lot is about staffing. And now different departments are different. Like on the maintenance side, it hasn't been hit as bad apparently, but the care staff for sure has been difficult to find. And so obviously staff turnover is a big issue for, you want to retain staff. And so if a tool can help them do this, but also what are like some trends that you're seeing just in general in the senior care industry that you think are happening now or going to be happening, and that maybe the Niuz app can help in that way?
I think one of the biggest things is the change of old guard. We're seeing that the the frontline care delivery staff is reaching the age out phase. A lot of them are choosing to retire. It's a little bit earlier than our generation, is reaching the point now where they're the senior directors of care and they're looking to retire. The newcomers coming into these positions are the Gen Ys, Gen Zs. They're used to having apps. They're used to having immediate information transfer. They're used to engaging with something in their hand to get the work done. Despite the fact that nursing, by and large, is trained, if it's not written down, it didn't happen. Well, with the advent of EHR, electronic health records, and companies like Point Click Care, which you and I know very well, they're changing that paradigm. They're shifting the importance of paper documentation to digital documentation. Old staff still struggle with that. They still struggle with adoption. New staff, no problem. You get an app for that? Yeah, please let me do that because it's easier and faster. So as the new generation of care delivery staff come into place, we've got a solution that they're accustomed to, that they would expect to have available to them, and it's massively cost effective for the organization to implement something like that.
I was just going to say, you basically took the words out of my mouth. The younger generations that are coming in, which the government's having a huge push with nursing training and adoption to get into these facilities and these positions. They want something that's easy, that's familiar, that's fast. They don't necessarily do all their work while at the home. Sometimes they want to be able to access it when they're at home. They have time to read documents. And Cam, not to say that some of the old guard aren't willing and able and eager and keen to adopt,
totally are. Yeah.
But statistically, there's always those slower adopters that are used to doing things a certain way and don't necessarily like change.
There's resistance that comes with the front care staffing generation. But I will say, to continue with the mobile app side of things and the youth, David hit the head where I want to be able to access what I need from wherever I need it, right? Getting back to the little red icons and having an app in your phone. If I'm on the subway, if I'm in line at the grocery store, if I'm just driving around with my boyfriend, whatever it is, I know I can check my app for something quick and easy to digest. If I've got to go to the dentist and I need to know what is my insurance coverage, well, Niuz can allow that person to access that documentation for whatever their healthcare coverage is or their EAP plan through a login process that's built into Niuz. So tap into Niuz, tap into the mobile intranet side of things, and then I can access what I need to while I'm en route. So I don't have to worry about what was that paper. I got to print that thing off. There's no way you're going to find it on SharePoint. SharePoint doesn't work on a mobile phone. There's a resistance, there's a barrier to get to the information that I need that exists in traditional softwares. And we've broken that barrier. We've changed that dynamic to make it everything can be accessed on your phone. And that's exactly where this new generation of staff want it to be.
And we're making it easier and easier as we start to integrate with more platforms, more scheduling, time and attendance, payroll, even maintenance platforms. Any education platforms, it's just going to get easier and easier for staff to access what they need.